Caption close Dublin, AP, an Irish citizen recently acquitted after 4 years of being imprisoned in Egypt says he saw dozens of cellmates become radicalized and adopt views of the Islamic State group during his brutal captivity in overcrowded jails. Ibrahim Halawa, 21, was arrested after security forces broke up a 2013 sit-in protesting the army's overthrow of an elected Islamist president, and was released in October after being held in a half-dozen detention centers. His experience provides a unique perspective on how conditions inside Egypt's notorious prisons have degenerated during an unprecedented crackdown on dissent. Born in the Dublin suburb of Crumlin to parents of Egyptian descent, Halawa had faced death by hanging on charges that ranged from inciting violence to murder, and says regular beatings with bars and metal chains during captivity led him and others to the brink of despair. In the beginning, no one had even heard of DAES, but by the time I left, maybe 20% were openly supporting their ideas, he said, using the Arabic acronym for IS. It could have been just talk. Many of them were engineers, students and doctors who just wanted to get home to their families, but after all those years of being in jail with no explanation, many wanted revenge. The extremist group boasts a powerful affiliate in Egypt's northern Sinai that has stepped up attacks in recent years, killing hundreds of security forces and civilians and expanding its reach to the mainland. Last month, gunmen waving the group's black flag killed 300 people at a Sinai mosque in the deadliest terror attack ever carried out in the country. Authorities have meanwhile waged a sweeping crackdown on dissent. Human rights groups say as many as 60,000 political prisoners are being held in Egyptian jails, mainly Islamist supporters of ousted President Mohamed Morsi, but also several prominent secular activists. Halawa said prison officials routinely described him and his cellmates as political prisoners, even writing it on cells that were built to hold 10 men but were packed with dozens. The Egyptian government, which has branded Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood group a terror organization, denies holding any political prisoners. The prisons were packed originally. There were many members of the Muslim Brotherhood and April 6, secular youth movement, but new people were always coming in, he said. Toward the end, the guards became really rough with us because they saw people who left were returning, still politicized, posting their views on Facebook. Halawa was detained in the summer of 2013, just a few days after the army cleared out mass protests against the overthrow of Morsi, whose awkward one-year rule divided the country. Hundreds of protesters were killed. Halawa and his sisters traveled regularly to Egypt for vacation, and had arrived that summer, just after he finished secondary school exams. I had no clue what was going on in Egypt at the time. I went to a few protests, including anti-Morsi ones, but everyone did back then, and I wanted to see all sides, he said. Only after friends were killed by the military did he accept an invitation to speak on stage at the main sit-in, where he said organizers were inviting anyone to address the crowd.